story appears ordinary until you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello there, welcome to CoreTV Primetime News. I am Gift or Gete. Now, major story. Bring Back Our Girls group takes possession to center of Abuja as they demand the release of the Chibok girls 1 year after abduction. Also in this program, Nigeria's Supreme Affairs victory of Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose at the 2014 gubernatorial poll. And the manual heads Osun State Secretariat is crisis between warring factions and trade union leaders. Outside Nigeria, 100 feared drowned after the boat capsized off Libya. Good to have you stay tuned with us. Now, details of the headlines and other stories. Exactly 1 year after the Chibok abduction, the Bring Back Our Girls group on Tuesday held a procession in the Abuja center to mark the day Boko Haram abducted the girls from their school. At the head of the Porters' March were 219 children, some of them as young as 3 years old, who represented each of the abducted girls. Basayo reports that the demands of the young Nigerians were not different from the group's 1 year-long slogan, Bring Back Our Girls.
It's 1 year since the Chibok girls were abducted, and these young ambassadors are asking if they will ever be found. There are 219 in all, and they're representing each of the missing girls 1 year after the abduction. Chanting songs of solidarity, they are on the streets of Abuja to drive home the demand of the Bring Back Our Girls group.
What are we asking for? The truth, nothing but the truth. Never to be forgotten.
To mark 1 year of the Chibok abduction, they take their peaceful march from the Unity Fountain to the Federal Secretariat, a distance of about 4 kilometers.
Maintain your lines, please. Stop people in the line.
There, they made an attempt to have an audience with the Minister of Education, Ibrahim Shekara.
Who do we want to speak? The Minister of Education. When do we see him? Now. When do we see him? Now.
The minister wasn't available, but a director in the ministry reaffirmed government's commitment to finding and rescuing the abducted Chibok girls.
If you have been going and following what has been happening for the past 3 weeks, you know that sooner than later we will get our Chibok girls back.
But these young Nigerian children are insisting that more can and must be done by relevant authorities.
The government didn't do anything about it, and I and the other Chibok girls ambassadors are not happy about it.
They should put in more efforts. They should try their best to, bring back the girls. At least they should try and search for them. Let's know that they did something, not that they just heard about it and kept quiet. Let's know that they tried and they did their best. I don't want them to give up.
The international community was also there in solidarity with the protest movement.
The most important thing with the Chibok girls is that they return safely and that there is no efforts that could put their lives in danger. I think that's the most important thing.
For now, the group says it is keen on ensuring the government fulfills its promise of rescuing the girls soon. Basiaye, CoreTV News, Abuja.
Still on the Chibok girls 1 year after, the Nigerian authorities have expressed their commitment to finding the abducted Chibok girls no matter how long it takes. They, however, conceded that the task may have to be that of the incoming administration. These are the thrust of the message delivered by government officials led by the Director General of the National Orientation Agency, Mike Omeri, at a press briefing in Abuja on the first anniversary of the Chibok abduction. Members of the Chibok community, however, demanded to know efforts being made to rescue the girls as well as rehabilitate the internally displaced people in the community.
We have a deep national commitment to finding the girls, not just finding the girls, restoring hope, ensuring security is returned to the communities that have been challenged by this curious action of people who are spreading catastrophic ideology in our land. Ladies and gentlemen, this national commitment requires total support. It requires dedication and understanding.
But you have my assurance that government is definitely doing something about finding the girls. I am not a security person, so I cannot talk about the strategy being used. And like I said, security issues, no man who is going to war, because this is like a war, we tell you this is what I'm going to do. No, it means you have let your strategy out. So let us continue to live with hope. We are all believers. We all have faith. If we go with the mind that nothing is being done or our children will not be found, it means we've lost hope, we've lost faith.
The situation of the kidnap of these Chibok girls has left the community at large very devastated. And today, while we're looking at our models, and the letter inviting us here says we'll be given some form of briefing as to the detailed plan to roll out on the Safe School initiative. We want to make it very clear that as a community, what we want to hear from government is what are the specifics steps government is taking towards the rescue of those girls. It's a pain that we live with every day. People have died. People are in very critical health conditions as a result of it. You can build a school, definitely. My niece was taken, she doesn't want to hear anything about school. The scar on her is permanent.
President-elect Muhammadu Buhari is not sure that the Chibok girls who were abducted from the school exactly 1 year today can be rescued. This, he says, is because the exact whereabouts of the 219 girls remain unknown, contrary to reports of sightings. The president-elect said in a personally signed statement issued from Daura Castina State that his administration would, however, do everything possible to bring them home. Buhari noted that from his first day in office, Boko Haram will feel the strength of Nigeria's collective will and commitment to stemming the tide of terror and restore peace and normalcy to affected areas. The incoming president also promised to improve the educational opportunities as a direct counterbalance to what he described as Boko Haram's twisted ideology of Western education. He added that as Nigerians remember the day, it should be used as time to reflect on the pain and suffering of the victims, their friends and families. The new leadership of the Nigeria Labour Congress has decided to make a shift from past administration's negligence of the over 200 Chibok girls kidnapped last year, while making the expectations known to the new administration, which will be inaugurated on the 29th of May. President of the NLC said this while he issued a communique to the press at the end of the Central Working Committee in Lagos. Patience Ajiboye has more.
In his communique, President of the Nigeria Labour Congress, Joe Ajaero, congratulated Nigerians on the success of the just concluded polls, saying it is an improvement that is significant in Nigeria's electoral process. He also called for necessary punishment for electoral offenders. He went on to say that beyond credible elections, the president-elect should focus on expanding the frontier for job creation through value-added activities in agriculture and industrial manufacturing.
Under his watch, we demand special attention to address the challenge of electricity supply in the country, and in particular, in the immediate term, accelerate solution for industrial power needs. Once the power needs of industries are addressed and the new government is able to create stability in the macroeconomic environment, the prospect for expanded industrial development and job creation is huge. The incoming administration must also be prepared to address income inequality and the widening gap between the poor and the rich through wage improvements and progressive tax administration.
And as the world sadly marks 1 year of the abduction of the Chibok girls, Ajero, while saying the NLC will now rise up to action with the new leadership, also urges President Goodluck Jonathan to see to the release of the girls before he hands over power on the 29th of May.
CWC in session stressed that as a nation we cannot continue to agonize. The Congress therefore urged the President Jonathan administration to do all within his powers to ensure the release of these innocent children before the handover date of May 29th. If for whatever reason that is not achieved, we call on the President-elect to give this issue utmost priority within the first 30 days of assumption of office. We believe it is possible to survey the situation and rise up to say, never again will Nigeria feel insecure in their homes, markets, schools, community, mosques, church, and wherever they may be.
With only about 6 weeks to the handover date, President-elect Muhammadu Buhari is already being reminded of policies to make to ensure a better Nigeria, especially as it concerns security and the Nigerian workforce. Patience Ajiboye, CoreTV News, Lagos.
The Supreme Court has affirmed that Ekiti State Governor Ayo Fayose was duly elected on June 21st, 2014. The court turned down an appeal filed by the All Progressives Congress against the electoral victory of Fayose. A 7-man panel led by Justice Sylvester Ngwota unanimously agreed that the earlier decision of the Court of Appeal and the Ekiti State Governorship Election Tribunal that the petition lacked merit. Basi Okafor reports that Apex Court dismissed APC's position on Fayose's impeachment on the ground that the panel that investigated him was not properly constituted. The report is presented from our studios.
The legal battle to unseat the Ekiti State governor has been finally laid to rest. This is after the APC lost its third attempt to remove Fayose on the ground of alleged forged certificates and his 2005 impeachment after he won the June 21, 2014 governorship election. The Supreme Court, in its judgment, held that none of the grounds of appeal was proved by the appellant.
You can say that the appeal has finally, in this judgment, laid to rest so many issues that are not only relevant to Ekiti State, not only relevant to Dr. Peter Odili Fayose, but to the entire electorate in Nigeria as to what constitutes an impeachment, what are the consequences of an impeachment, where and when do you find a man or woman guilty of an offense. And not only that, we know that in our political space, there has been a lot of mudslinging, people making all sorts of unfounded allegations against their opponents. In this judgment, the court has again reaffirmed the hallowed constitutional rule that you do not convict a man unless you have found him guilty after a fair hearing has been offered him.
This is the final court of the country, and they have spoken. The judgment is the law now. And we're happy, even though we lost, because this law must develop. They have now, we all know now, that impeachment is no longer, you cannot even use it as a factor to disqualify somebody. But of course, they made their point that all our institutions, they must be up and doing. If somebody was impeached, you have to go back. The police to effect arrest, try that governor in the court of law or tribunals, so that you can now bar him for 10 years from reconstruction. So we are happy with the judgment.
With this judgment, Fayose supporters say the victory is further proof that the governor had a genuine mandate of the people.
We are indeed very happy with the outcome of the judgment. It settled a lot of issues. And firstly, that impeachment is not a ground for disqualification. And also the issue of certificate, that the issue of certificate too, whether he forged the certificate or not, have been settled long ago in the case of AD versus Fayose, and it has become res judicata. There is an estoppel that have prevented them from raising the issue again, that there was no evidence of any forgery, as this issue had long been settled in an earlier case involving AD and the Governor Fayose.
The post-election case might have been dispensed, but political analysts say Fayose still has more hurdles to cross before his tenure expires, especially with the 19 state legislators bent on removing him from office. But for now, the governor and his supporters can afford to savor the sweet taste of victory at the Supreme Court.
It's CoreTV Primetime News. We'll take a break. Please stay with us.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digit 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Welcome back. Now, do not forget that you can catch us on our social media platforms. Well, on Facebook, it's facebook.com/CoreTV News. On Twitter at CoreTV News NG. And YouTube at youtube.com/CoreTV with a space news. Now, if you've just joined us, a recap of our major headlines. Bring Back Our Girls group takes procession to center of Abuja as they demand the release of the Chibok girls 1 year after abduction. Nigeria's Supreme Court affirms victory of Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose at the 2014 gubernatorial polls. Pandemonium hits assumed state secretariat as crisis between warring factions of trade union develops. Good to have you stay on to CoreTV Primetime News. Now we continue with the rest of our stories. As the Supreme Court upholds the victory of Ayodele Fayose at the June 21, 2014 governorship election in Ekiti, jubilant crowd led by the governor himself held the city of Ado-Ekiti spellbound and his thank you tour around the state capital. Fayose extends olive branch to all and sundry as he preaches peace across board. Rashid has more.
As the news of the Supreme Court victory of Ayodele Fayose filters into town, the expectant party went around the major streets of Ado-Ekiti in their numbers to celebrate the governor's victory. The crowd, led by the governor himself, expressed gratitude to the people of the state. Not oblivious of the task ahead and the impeachment crisis engulfing the state, Ayo Fayose extends the olive branch to all and sundry, especially the opposition party.
Ekiti is above all. If truly our democracy is about service, our struggle is about service, it's time for the opposition to sheath their sword. Let us have Ekiti state, Ekiti, that we will have peace. Enough of these bickerings, enough of this division. This is not the only state in Nigeria. I am not the only politician. Even if I've wronged anyone, it is time to forgive me. It is time to give me peace because of Ekiti. I didn't vote for myself. They voted for me. And I'm extending love to them. They should come. This is their state. Rather than fighting me is like fighting the common man. I want everybody, all players, all stakeholders, let us be honorable. Let us allow peace in the state. I have nothing against anybody. I've forgiven everybody, and I want everybody on board. Let's work together in the interest of our state.
To all the PDP stalwarts, the Supreme Court judgment is an affirmation of Ayoshi's acceptance and a final blow to the opposition.
Before, the threat was heavy. They were threatening us. When they won, we didn't have peace. They threatened impeachment. They did everything, but for God, we now have victory at last.
The victory is concluded. We have gotten the victory. And the first instance, they were in the lower court, we got it. They were in the appeal court, we got it. We are now in the appeal court. And the Supreme Court has also confirmed that PDP has the victory. So what more?
The Ekiti All Progressives Congress, speaking through its publicity secretary Taiwo Olatubosun in a phone chat, though accepts the Supreme Court judgment, but questions the moral standing of Governor Fayose. The battle over the election may be over, but no doubt the state PDP and APC are still in the trenches. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado Ekiti.
And now to Osun State, where pandemonium broke out at the Osun State Government Secretariat when armed thugs wielding dangerous weapons dislodged government workers from the premises. The attack is allegedly connected to the leadership tussle between two factions of the Trade Union Congress in the state as they take the forward to another dimension. Rashid again completes the story.
This can best be described as battle royale, as bottles, stones and other dangerous materials were freely used by these thugs who came in the official bus of the Trade Union Congress. The bus allegedly belongs to the Francis Adetunji-led faction of the TUC. The Adetunji faction had previously directed civil servants to embark on a 3-day warning strike, while the Akinyemi Olatunji faction had asked them to resume for duty. This pitched the two factions against each other, culminating in the use of thugs by a faction of the union. Journalists were equally not spared in the attack, as a camera belonging to one of the news hunters was seized.
Adetunji Francis Oladele gave them that bus from the Civil Service Commission. They assemble a civil service club, GRA. They move out from that place to this place, and they came with those thugs with bottles, with machetes, to disrupt those who want to go in to do their lawful job.
As soon as the monitoring team got close to the gate, by the time they were about to embark, Akin and his troop came out. That was what led to the fracas. This thing happened when workers are agitating for something. Put yourself in our shoe. We are here to be paid for the past 5 months now. You will see the anger in those people.
2 suspects have, however, been arrested in connection with the crisis. In a related development, the striking medical workers of the Ladoke Akintola University of Technology Teaching Hospital, Osogbo, also staged a protest in front of the hospital. This was followed immediately by a no work, no pay directive from the Osun State government.
Well, we want to believe it's part of political gimmicks that they want to use. What we believe is they should pay our money. Until our money is paid, the struggle.
All has been far from well for members and supporters of the Accord Party in Oyo State, who have described the outcome of the just concluded governorship poll in the state as a slap on democracy. The governorship candidate of the party, Rashid Ladoja, who came second in the race with 254,520 votes after the incumbent, who polled 327,310 votes, accused the incumbent governor of rigging the election, as he promised to fight his cause even with the last drop of his blood at the election tribunal to gain the mandate of truly the people that deserve it. Omot Hayualo has details in this report.
We don't sense of the word no,
These residents and chieftains of Accord have expressed in different ways their displeasure at the outcome of the governorship election in the state. They say Ladoja is the change they want in Oyo, just as it was observed at the federal level, stressing that they would not stand and watch being cheated.
No collation was done in Iwajowa local government to warrant somebody writing some, results. We were amazed, but nevertheless, we have reported to the state headquarters of Accord.
The truth will be prevailed. God Almighty is on the throne. Definitely, we are having it back.
To our surprise, we are robbed.
All the supporters say with God on their side, Rashid Ladoja will be pronounced governor of the state, as they urge their members not to take laws into their hands.
Where do they get the force they were counting? They rob us, and God will not allow them to ride on us.
We are going to get the government back for Rashid Ladoja. Everything that is taken, we're going to get it back.
On his part, the Accord candidate urges angry and disappointed supporters to keep calm and be assured of getting justice.
Concrete evidence which we are going to present to the tribunal. We will not take laws into our hands. But I want to sound a note of warning, because it has come to my hearing that the government talks have started harassing our people in the markets, in their homes, in the garages. We will not tolerate this one.
With a resolute intention to take the protest to the streets, only the words from their leader made them disperse to their various homes.
Go back to your work. We will continue the fight at this end.
Clearly, supporters of Accord have shown their displeasure to the outcome of the governorship election in the state. While the leader has told them not to take to violence, their cry is that their mandate is restored in Oyo State. CoreTV News, Ibadan.
And back to Lagos, where Lagos State Governor-elect Akinwumi Ambode has promised to make the state civil service the best in Africa. Ambode, accompanied by the Lagos State Governor Fashola, made this promise in appreciation of the civil servants for their support that the just concluded April 11 governorship and House of Assembly elections. Both Fashola and Ambode urged the workers to cooperate with government to consolidate on the success of Lagos.
But apart from coming to say thank you, is also to appeal to you not to lose what we have achieved. I've continued to say this and I will continue to reinforce it, because if we lose it, we will have to do it again. My mission is very simple. Everything I've gained in life, I've actually come from this same civil service. My major duty is to make the civil service the best civil service in Africa. Everything I have suffered for, everything I have gained, everything I left, it was more about sacrifice. I sacrificed myself to be here this morning. And that sacrifice is about selflessness. And that is the epitome of civil service. It's the best noble service I've ever known. And that is the way we are going to keep it.
Following the re-election of Kwara State Governor Abdul Fattah Ahmed as the governor-elect, he has called on aggrieved politicians who contested against him in the April 11th poll to put the past behind them and come together for the growth and prosperity of the state. This is coming as the governorship candidate of Labour Party, Mike Omotosho, congratulates the governor on his re-election. Rashid reports from Ilorin, the Kwara State capital.
In the first reaction to his victory at the poll, the Kwara State Governor Abdul Fattah Ahmed has charged all politicians, especially his opponents, at the April 11 election to see Kwara State as the project of all, urging them to put the elections behind and forge ahead in unity for the growth and development of the state.
I want to urge all Kwarans, irrespective of ethnic nationalities,
to come together, to let's put our heads together to move Kwara State forward. Politicking has just come and moved on. The next level is governance. Governance is a collective responsibility where inputs are expected to come in from different quarters. So I use this to appeal to all those who were involved in this process of this election, either those who voted for us or those who did not vote for us, to recognize the fact that the business of governance is a collective one. So we're required to all put our heads together and design the Kwara of our dream and take our businesses there accordingly.
The governor-elect, although welcomes the massive decamping of politicians to the APC, he however raised concern as he advised the MPs to key into the APC's ideology.
Well, recognizing the fact that defections began to take place after the first election. Those who are defected, to the extent that they are coming in to share in the new ideology of change, they are coming to share in the new dawn of the type of governance Nigeria has just seen that will make a difference to the current and future political positions of this country.
The governorship candidate for the Labour Party, Mike Omotosho, congratulating Abdul Fattah Ahmed, however, raised concern over the election result as he alleges some irregularities.
We would like to congratulate Governor Abdul Fattah Ahmed on his announced victory and to implore him to raise the standards and build a Kwara that will be worth living as a proud legacy for our future generations in the fear of God and service to humanity. We did not and still do not want to have a mandate that was induced with temporary gains, because we believe in a democracy that is freely sought and freely given.
As the road clears for Abdul Fattah Ahmed, the people of Kwara anxiously await what he has for them in the second leg of his governorship in Kwara State. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ilorin.
The April 11th State Houses of Assemblies elections result of Koshofe Constituency 1 seems not to go down well with the People's Democratic Party, and its candidate Oluwaseyi Adegoke has details in this report.
Just as congratulations are in order for the governor-elect of Lagos State and other successful candidates in the just concluded elections, the PDP Koshofe Constituency 1 is still contesting the results.
These irregularities are brought about on due margin in favor of the acclaimed winner, Honorable Bayo Shinowo of the APC. For instance, in Constituency 1 Ward B polling units 017, wrong ballot papers were used in casting votes in Ifakobagada. In this particular polling unit, almost 70 ballot papers meant for casting votes at Amu Odofin were used at Ifakobagada. It is apparent from the above evidence that other polling units may have been subjected to similar unacceptable irregularities by the INEC officials.
Alleged irregularities in many polling units within Koshofe constituency on April 11 gave undue advantage to the All Progressives Congress in the declared results.
When you have votes that are so close, the margin is so close, there is fear that especially the incumbency will use undue pressure, the power of incumbency, the control of the apparatus of government, that it will be used.
The PDP in Koshofe Constituency 1 says it will continue to work towards getting justice, but implores the Independent National Electoral Commission to carry out the necessary due diligence to determine the true winner of the election. Oluwaseyi Adegoke, CoreTV News, Lagos.
PDP youths have taken to the streets of Owerri, the Imo State capital, calling on the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to declare the party's candidate, Emeka Ihedioha, the rightful winner of the governorship election conducted in the state. They also accused the All Progressives Congress of implementing a systemic and organized rigging from the top to undermine the will of the people. Spokesman of the group and Minister of State for Education, Vala Onwuliri, says the party will not accept being rigged out of what rightly belongs to it.
A lot of things will have to be internalized so that we get it done. It's unfortunate that an election won by the PDP roundly, and the goods now came up to the center to go in favor of the APC. More people have rejected the Nature Party. They have rejected the APC longer than now. And that is why he used force to ensure that he got the results for the people. So the results we are seeing are not actually
All security agencies were on hand to prevent a situation from turning violent as tempers flared. It's CoreTV Primetime News. We'll take another break and be back with business, sports and stories outside Nigeria. Stay with us.
From time immemorial, women have birthed life, shaped character, and by extension, influenced the society. Moremi of Ife, Emoten of Benin, Queen Aminat of Zaria, all women of influence and power.
Whether it's before election, after election.
How ironical. Women being so powerful, yet have few grounds in decision making.
They see you as a way, and I see you as a wife to a man.
We are talking women in politics.
A woman will be bold enough to stand up and say, I want to become president of Nigeria.
Only on CoreTV News. Welcome back to CoreTV Primetime News. Now on time for business. The number of active lines in the nation's telecommunications industry increased to 142,589,775 in February. The Nigerian Communications Commission (NCC) said in its data on Tuesday. The lines increased by 1,766,980 on the 140,275,599 numbers recorded in the month of January. The Code Division Multiple Access (CDMA) operators, who had 2,108,960 active users in January, ordered 21,946, thereby recording 2,130,906 subscribers in February. The fixed wired wireless network consumers increased to 1,183,270 in February. The connected lines in the telecom operators network decreased by 1,531,957 to 190,575,684 in February. Also, the data revealed that tele-density of the country's telecommunications industry increased to 101.85% in February from 100.59% in January. Nigeria's tele-density is currently calculated by the NCC on a population of 140 million people. Overnight interbank rate rose to 66.8% from 27.16% on Friday last week, representing 39.63% increase. The 1 month, 3 months and 6 months of the Nigerian interbank offered rates NIBOR increased to 15.98, 16.98 and 18.03% respectively, according to data obtained from the Financial Markets Dealers quotations. But on Tuesday, overnight rates spiked to 90% on Tuesday, near record highs, up from 60% on Monday, 2 days after the central bank debated lenders to enforce its cash reserve requirements. And now time for Sabina Izoku to take us on stock market report. Over to you, Sabina.
CoreTV News Stock Market Report.
Hello there and welcome to the Stock Market Report segment with me, Sabina Izoku. Equities market on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange ended on a negative note today as the Nigerian All-Shares Index depreciated by 0.42% to close at 35,042.33 basis points. The market capitalization declined to close at 11.94 trillion naira. In all, a total volume of 248.3 million units of shares valued at 3.6 billion naira were exchanged in 4,939 deals. On the gainer side, 40L traded with 215 naira to close, with a price difference of 7 naira 50 coupled, followed by Guinness, Nigerian Breweries, Okumo Oil, and West African Production Company. On the flip side, Nestle topped it, followed by Total, Seplat Oil, Presco, and Zenith Bank. Meanwhile, Fidelity Bank topped the traders chart, followed by First Bank Nigerian Holding, Zenith Bank, Guarantee Trust Bank, and United Bank for Africa. Just before we wrap up the stock market report, here's the currency trade for today.
CoreTV News Stock Market Report.
There you have it, Stock Market Report with Sabina Izoku. And now to sports. Former Nigeria captain Stephen Keshi will sign a contract as coach of the Super Eagles this week. The three-time African champions have been without a substantive coach since June 2014, when Keshi's first contract with the Nigeria Football Federation (NFF) lapsed. Keshi oversaw Nigeria's 2015 Africa Cup of Nations AFCON qualifying campaign without a contract, and speculations had been rife over his future with the Nigerian national team. The NFF has now put such speculations to bed by announcing that Keshi will put pen on paper on a new deal this week. After failing to qualify for the 2015 AFCON, Nigeria will commence their quest to reach the 2017 tournament in Gabon, with a game against Chad on the weekend of June 12, 2014. The Super Eagles will also face Tanzania and Egypt in AFCON qualifying Group G, and Sanusi is upbeat about the chances of Nigeria's progressing from the group. Coach Samson Sasia says he hopes to lead Nigeria to win football gold at the 2015 All-Africa Games in Congo, Brazzaville. Nigeria's first and only AAG triumph was achieved in 1973 on home soil. But Sasia, lifted by his team's spirited win in Zambia at the weekend, said the target now is to go all the way and strike gold in Congo. Sasia will also single out two gold heroes in Lusaka Taiwo, the under-20 striker who was drafted to the Olympic team only this month, for special praise. Former Algerian international Dr. Belloumi has slammed CAF President Issa Yahato after the North African country missed out on hosting the 2017 African Cup of Nations. Gabon, who hosted the 2012 event, peeped Ghana and Algeria and will welcome the continent's best teams in 2017 once again. Algeria looked favourites to be awarded the event, having last organised Africa's showpiece in 1990, but CAF decided to go with Gabon. The Algerian football legend claimed that the country always welcomed the CAF bus with open arms, but admits the deaths of Cameroonian footballer Abed Ebose while playing top fight football in Algeria may have influenced CAF's decision to snub Algeria.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Thanks for staying tuned with us. Now outside Nigeria. Reports say some 400 migrants are feared drowned after their boat capsized off Libya. The Italian Coast Guard had rescued 144 people on Monday and immediately launched an air and sea search operation in hopes of rescuing others. Most of the survivors were young men, probably minors. The European Union say that that more than 7,000 migrants have been pumped from the Mediterranean since Friday. Survivors say the latest tragedy happened after the boat carrying about 550 migrants in total flipped a day after leaving the Libyan coast. 9 bodies have already been recovered, but no more survivors have been found since the search was launched. Meanwhile, the EU's Frontex border agency said the people smugglers had fired shots into the air to warn away a Coast Guard vessel attempting to rescue migrants. It's CoreTV Primetime News, and just before we go, a recap of our major headlines. The Bring Back Our Girls group takes possession to center of Abuja as they demand the release of the Chibok girls 1 year after abduction. We also told you that Nigeria's Supreme affirms victory of Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose at the 2014 gubernatorial poll. And you also heard from CoreTV News that Pandemonium heads Osun State Secretariat as crisis between warring factions of trade union deepens. And that's our show for tonight. Thank you so much for staying until the end. On behalf of the entire production crew, I am Gift Ogete. Good night.